What's up, nail geeks? I am back again with Polish Pickup March 2020. The theme this month is ancient history, and from what you can see here on that collage, we have a beautiful array of finishes and shades and colors. I really enjoyed this month. There are some absolute stunners here, and I think there is such a lovely mix again this month. I almost want to say that this theme has been one of my top 3 favorites so far in terms of the offerings this month. So I have 21 items to show you all. So pack in, grab some snacks. I'm going to get through them as efficiently as possible. And a quick side note, I am changing up the font here on the information on the screen. So please let me know how that comes off for you guys. I feel like this is going to be more efficient and easier to read as you're listening along. So let me know how that works out for you guys on different screens, and let's dive right in. First up, we've got Alchemy Lacquers. This is Sands of Giza, described as a lavender jelly that contains red to orange to yellow to green shifting shimmer and a scattered linear holographic finish. This is inspired by a picture of a pyramid in Giza. Price will be $11.50, and there's a cap of 70 US and 5 UK bottles. So true to that description, this is definitely a jelly feel on application. Really is going to depend on how you wear it for how vibrant that base color comes off. Personally, I would recommend 3 coats on this one and you'll get that nice plumping factor. Now, normally I am very picky on purples, though if I do decide to wear them, I prefer them in shades like this, where they are very loud and very bright, and just really kind of springy, I guess, is the general palette that I go for on purples. This is very flattering. It is of the warmer side of a lavender shade, really pretty. Here on that second coat, you can see that buildup starting to happen. The shimmer is very strong in person. In bright lights and in indoor lighting, you're going to see what you see on the video. It's got that nice reddish type of orangey appearance, and at angles, you'll see that green shift come out to play in shaded lighting too. So here on that third coat, you can see I've got really nice coverage against my free edge. This is really lovely on that shimmer. It's just very strong in person. I'll be sure to show you guys the close-up macros of the shift at the end of the video during the recap. And next we've got Blush Lacquers. She brings us In the Beginning, described as a pale silver-toned lavendery pink linear ultra holographic inspired by the creation of the universe. Price will be $13, and there is no cap on it. This is crazy holographic in person. It is, I mean, just really bringing it on that holographic factor. Now, if you follow along on my blog post or in the Facebook fan group for Polish Pickup, I did include some macro shots in direct lighting so that you guys can see just how holographic this bad boy is in direct sunlight. It is just full of linear rainbows. So in person, in indoor lighting or shaded lighting where you're not against that direct light of any type, it's just really lovely type of very pale lavender type of shade, really flirting with being a silvery type of holographic too. It's just really gorgeous. It's got almost like a pearlescent type effect to it when you are not in bright lights. Even at the slightest bit of lighting, which you can see on the video here, it's still lighting up with that linear effect. So very pretty. I'm going to recommend 2 coats on this one, and really any top coat will be just fine. In this video, you are seeing Glisten and Glow's Quick Dry Glossy Top Coat applied to all of the polishes except a few exceptions. And next we've got by Danny Viana. This is Pharos, described as a pinky coral red when cold to a baby pink when warm, thermal, with gold shimmer and matte white rectangle glitters. This is inspired by lighthouses. Price will be $12, and there's a cap of 200 bottles on it. So for a thermal polish, this is crazy reactive on that temperature property. As you can see here on this first coat, it is just immediately transitioning on my nail. We're finally starting to get some warm weather here in the south, so I'm going to be running pretty warm probably for the rest of the year. And you can see on my free edge just a little bit of that cold state. So I would agree with the official description that it is a bit of a baby pink when it's warm, but given that I'm running pretty warm in this video, I would say that it even flirts with being a very pale white with a pink tinge to it, if that makes sense. So there is an intermediate type of color here too, which is that lovely vibrant pink that you kind of see kind of across my nail bed. And when it's very cold, you'll see that corally type of pink come out. It's very pretty. I really like both states of this one. Now on those rectangular matte glitters, you might need to do just a little bit of fishing to get them out of the bottle and onto your nails in a evenly dispersed manner. But honestly, I think it applied just fine. but just throwing it out there, there was just a little bit of placement needed on those. And next up, we've got by Vanessa Molina. This is Mysteries of Egypt. Described as a dusty brown when cold to pinkish beige when warm, thermal with ultrachrome chameleon flakes in bronze, magenta, purple, gold, and a subtle scattered hollow. This is inspired by ancient Egypt's mysterious nights. Price is $13, and there is a cap of 200 bottles on it. So once again, we have a lovely, really, really strong transitioning thermal here. This easily reacts. As you can see here on this first coat, it's already starting to change on my nail. Now, the warm color, which is what you're seeing on my nail beds right now, is really, in my opinion, flirting with being almost a colorless state. But when you build it up, you'll definitely see this beige, somewhat pinkish type of shade. I think on the second coat here, you can really start to see it. It's definitely what I would consider a neutral type of pink, very, very close with being colorless. And then on the cold state, you can see it's a nice dusky type of brown. So this does have smaller flecks of multichrome flakies in it. You'll get a nice little rainbow going on here. I would suggest going in with 3 coats on this one just to really build it up, as it does have a jelly-like feel on application. And after top coating, I had no texture or anything like that with it. So this one also would double as a topper if you wanted to wear it over another color, and you'll get what I would consider more of a dusky type of colorless neutral to that brown state. So very, very nice, and a lot of versatility with this one. And next we've got Cameo colored lacquers. This is Dank River Valley, described as a taupe curly base with a slight bronze shimmer, bronze flecks, hollow sparkle, and lime blue gold and blue violet copper ultra chrome chameleon flakes, small caramel gold rose glitters, and silver hollow micro flakes. This is inspired by the Mesopotamian image of and the history of the entire world, I guess, book. Price will be $11, and there is no cap on it. So this one has a very Crelly-like formula, which is what I've come to expect from this brand. Very, very nice coverage on it. I'm going to suggest 2 coats for full opacity. I'm really digging the fact that the little flakes in this one, they are of the medium and smaller varieties, but they're very noticeable against that background. So I really like that. It's like a rainbowy type effect against a very neutral base. Really wonderful. I had no problems whatsoever getting them out of the bottle. No issues to report on this one either. Everything was nice and smooth. Now this one I would recommend a glossy top coat just to seal everything in. No texture or anything like that with it, and you'll really, really exploit those little multi-chrome flakes. And Crystal Knockout brings us Solstice Stones. This is a dusky blue leaning purple base with red to gold aurora shimmer, hollow micro flakes, and platinum silver flakes, inspired by Stonehenge, and the price will be $11, and there is no cap on this one. So this also has a very jelly-like feel on application, though I think it is flirting a little bit with being a Crelly in that it does build up very easily on the nail. So for this one, I'm going to recommend between 2 and 3 coats, depending on how you polish. I really want to point out that those little platinum silver flakes really pop in person. So those are probably one of my favorite types of flakes and polishes, where they give you that nice kind of jewel-like reflective appearance when you build it up. And as you go on to second or third coat, depending, you'll really see that nice shimmer starting to pop. It gives you this nice reddish copperish appearance with gold at angles. Very, very nice, and it pops against that base color very well. I do feel like this one is coming off color accurate to what I'm seeing in person. And then going in with that Glisten and Glow quick dry glossy top coat, I had no texture or anything like that, and everything was smooth to the touch. And next we've got Cupcake Polish. She brings us Bathhouse, described as a minty aqua blue Crelly base with pink to aqua to gold to green iridescent flakes. This is inspired by Roman bathhouses. Price is $13, and there is no cap on it. This base color, you guys, I'm serious, it is phenomenal. It is so pretty. Now this definitely is what I would consider a Crelly type of formula. It really builds up like crazy to opacity though. Personally, I would recommend 2 coats, and I'll get to that in just a moment. But back to that base color, it is crazy flattering, so pretty, especially if you've got medium to darker skin tone. It's really gonna pop on you like crazy. So it is loaded up with those iridescent flakes too. I had no issues with them. I do want to note that depending on your lighting, this might come off just a touch more blue than what you're seeing on the video. Though personally, from watching the playback here on my monitor, I do feel like this is color accurate to what I'm seeing in person. It's very vibrant. It does have a minty feel to it. but just a gorgeous aqua type of interesting color. Very, very pretty. Now I had no problems once again with those flakes. Now this one does dry down a little bit on the matte side and it's pretty flat when it dries down. So personally, I would recommend a good glossy top coat just to really get this one to pop like crazy. Those little iridescent flakes are so stunning and you'll get that nice mosaic type effect with them. Now you do see a touch of my visible nail line on the video, but in person I didn't really notice it as much, and I thought at that second coat it was plumped out perfectly. And next we've got DRK Nails and her Magic Effect top coat. This is developed in mind to make magnetic polishes easier. It will be $7.50 and there is no cap on it. So she also brings us a ring for Roxanne. This is an ultra chrome magnetic in red to orange magnetic pigment with pastel iridescent flakes in copper to green and aurora shimmer in red gold green. This is inspired by Roxanne and Alexander the Great's wedding. Price is $13.90 and there is 200 bottles. It also comes with that little glittery gold painted ring with it that is that you can use for magnetic effect. So I'm going to show you guys that top coat here in just a moment that I really quickly went through. It is basically designed to where you can apply your magnetic polishes normally like a normal polish, and then in the final look you can go in with that top coat and then magnetize it. I was shook at that concept, so I wanted to really test it out and I'm going to show it to you guys twice on this video. So here I'm going in with DRK Nails, her polish for the month, and you can see here it builds up very nicely, definitely between 2 and 3 coats depending on how you want to wear it. I was feeling a little bit extra and I really wanted to get that multi-chrome pigment to pop, so I took it in for 3 coats and I thought it looked really, really nice at that. So I think using this top coat, it's really nice on the video, so you guys can also get a feel for what a polish looks like when it's unmagnetized too. I think it's a really cool concept, and I may or may not continue to use it in the videos. We shall see, but overall I really did like that magnetic top coat. I was very impressed with it. So when you use it, and like here in the video, the instructions say to go in generous with it. It does have a very thin consistency to it. Just kind of slabber it on there and then go in with your magnet. Here I'm using the little cute ring magnet that comes with the polish itself. Now, depending on how you use the ring, you can hold it flat like this for a circular effect, like what you see on the video, or you can hold it on its side for a more crispy line. So here you can see that that ring kind of repelled the magnetic pigment. And Esmaltes de Kelly brings us Gladiators, described as a warm red jelly base with gold, black, and red holographic glitters in a variety of sizes. This is inspired by Gladiators. Price is $10.50 and there is a 200 bottle cap on it. So you guys know by now I'm a big fan of glitters. I'm sure you guys are very tired of hearing me say it, but this is what I would consider a full coverage glitter. It is very packed full of lots and lots of different sizes and colors of glitters. Most of them are in the circular shape. Now for opacity on this, I'm going to suggest 2 coats as it really builds up and just packs a punch on opacity. So I gave my bottle a good shake before applying and I had no issues picking up just a ton of them on that brush. It really gives you a healthy dose of polish on your brush strokes. So here on that second coat, it's popping like crazy. For a warm toned person myself, I'm always very picky with reds. Depending on their undertone, definitely gonna wash me out or whatnot. This one I feel like has that gorgeous cool toned effect to it and it's just so flattering and pretty. Lots and lots of glitter to see on this one. It really plumps out on that second coat. On the top coat on this one, I did go in with Esmaltes de Kelly, her glitter smoothing top coat duo that she released 2 months ago in Polish Pickup, and I had no texture or anything like that with it, and I was just glossy and good to go. Now sidebar, I do not know if that top coat duo is returning. And Fair Maiden brings us Lady Godiva. This is a neutral beige nude jelly base loaded with red to green shimmer, iridescent flakes, and scattered hollow. This is inspired by Lady Godiva's choice of clothing, or lack of. Price is $11 and there is no cap on it. So this is definitely a jelly base. Really has a nice squishy factor to it on the brush strokes here. Now for opacity, depending on how you want to wear it, as this is one of those more delicate type of shades, I would suggest between 2 and 3 coats and you're going to be good to go. So the base color, I definitely agree, is a very neutral type of beige. Definitely leans like a nude on myself. And I do feel like depending on your skin tone is definitely going to depend on how that undertone comes off on you. So this is also packed full of red to green shimmer. In bright lights, you'll see that coppery red type of shade. And at angles, you'll see a green shift come out to play too. It's very pretty. Now there is a scattered hollow effect giving you a bit of a scattered sparkle. And this is also packed with matching iridescent flakes that really lay down nice and flat for me. I had no issues with that. Everything performed very well on this one. Now I was feeling extra and I really wanted to plump this one out, so I went in for that third coat. And you can see here, it just really makes the shimmer and the flakes pop like crazy. So no issues with this. And like I said, really going to depend on how you want to wear it. Now this one does dry down a little bit on the matte side, so personally I would recommend a glossy top coat. Once again, you're seeing the glisten and glow glossy top coat, and I'm good to go, and just lots and lots of glowy factor here. Now, glisten and glow, speaking of, brings us a multi-chrome polish that shifts from deep plum to red to bronze to golden yellow to green with added color shifting iridescent flakes that shift from pink to orange to gold to green. Now this is inspired by the iconic line from the movie 300. Price is $12.50 and there is no cap on it. Now this one has a touch of a creamy type of jelly feel to it on application, but it definitely performs like a cream. And for opacity on this one, I'm going to suggest 2 coats, as you'll see here in just a moment. It really builds up very fast on the nail. In person in bright lights, you'll see what you see on the video here. It's a very lovely plummy type of purple shade, and at angles you'll see a lovely bronze and a gold come out to play. I did capture it on my macro shots, and I'll also show that at the end during the recap of the video, as well as the swatch pic right after this application. So those flakes really contrast against that base color. It's very, very pretty. So they offer their own type of multi-chrome shift against the multi-chrome base itself. So multi-chrome on multi-chrome action. And going in with the top coat, I am good to go and no texture or anything like that. And then just as a quick reminder, the Quick Dry Glossy Top Coat is being offered this month. So it is an award-winning fast dry glossy top coat that dries within 2 to 4 minutes, increases the length of your polish wear, and it does not smear nail art. Price will be $7.50 and there is no cap on it. So definitely grab it. I highly recommend it. You guys have been following my videos along for a little while now. I have tried and tested this top coat quite a bit and I really love it. It's absolutely fantastic. And lastly, I wanted to show you guys, this is Sparta, also matted, so you guys can really see those flakes, that there is a ton of them in there, and you'll still get that nice multi-chrome glow. And Lemming Lacquer brings us Bast. This is a dark inky blue jelly base with bronze to copper to gold to pink, magnetic multi-chrome flakes, sapphire and gold holographic sparks, and hollow micro flakes. This is inspired by the goddess of cats, protection, pleasure, and bringer of good health, Bast. Price is $13 and there is a 250 bottle cap on it. So I'm also going to be playing around with the DRK Nails Magic Effect top coat. So I'm going to show you guys how that works here again in just a moment. So Bast has a very, very rich, dense feel on application. It's really flirting with being a one coater. It definitely self-levels very nicely, but personally I would recommend going in with 2 thin coats just to really, really make those little shimmers pop. Now I want to note that the magnetic pigment in this one, they are very dense and they are of the larger variety. So on this one, I would personally recommend just a little bit longer with your magnetic effect, just to really get it to pull the magnetic pigment to a line or whatever design you're going to use. So here I'm using that magic top coat. I'm going in generous with it. And then I'm going to go ahead and use the neodymium magnet that you guys are always seeing on my videos. It's a very strong magnet. And this time I'm going in above, as I did try it with the magnet under my nail, and unfortunately I didn't have as tight of a line with it. So definitely going to keep trying the top coat out, but personally on this one, because the pigments are a little heavier, I would recommend going in with your magnet on top. And you can see here the top coat definitely worked. Very impressed with it. And Night Owl Lacquer brings us Deathly Hallows. This is a black jelly base with hollow flecks, gold to green, aqua to green, and bronze to green crystal flakes. This is inspired by the Deathly Hallows from Harry Potter. Price is $12.50 and there is no cap on it. Lindsay of Night Owl, the brand maker, she really knows her way around flakes. And you can see here, we've got another flaky filled beauty to show you guys. I do agree that the base is a blackened shade. It does build up to be a very opaque black between 2 and 3 coats. But the flakes in this one really take center stage, and you're going to see them very, very prominently in a ton of warm types of color rolls. So lots of aquas and greens and golds, really pops against that black base and just really lovely. So I had no issues with them. They lay down nice and flat for me, so no issues there. Personally on this, I would recommend 2 coats for it, as it does crazy build up. The only time I could see someone needing to go to that 3rd coat is probably a thinner coat if you've got longer nails. And here, going in with the Glisten and Glow top coat, I had no texture with it. Everything was nice and smooth and no issues with that. And polish brings us Al Ula. This is described as a soft periwinkle crelly base with pink shimmer and pink to orange to green shifting iridescent flakes. This is inspired by Al Ula Oasis and Ruins. Price is $13 and there is no cap on it. So the formula on this has a very crelly-like feel on application. Now personally on this, I am going to recommend, if you've got a free edge, going in with 3 coats on it just to really make the shimmer pop in it and make that base color really prominent. So here on the first coat you can see it does start off just a touch on the sheer side, but you'll see here in just a moment it builds it very nicely and it plumps out fantastically too. So I had no issues with those flakes. Per usual, bottles get a good shake and I had no problems with that. It just gives a really strong iridescent effect. Now I do feel like this is another one of those shades, especially when it comes to periwinkle nail polish colors. I feel like it's really going to depend on your lighting, whether or not it leans a little more lavender or if it's going to have a bit of a blue tinge to it. Just in my opinion, the nature of that type of shade. I personally feel like on the video here, at least on my monitor, on the playback, I feel like this is color accurate to what I'm seeing in person. It's a very interesting shade. I do agree it's periwinkle, but it does have a bit of a tiny bit of a blue tinge, but it definitely also feels very lavender-like. So I personally feel like what you're seeing here is what I'm seeing in person in the bottle. I do feel like my swatches leaned just a little bit on the blue side, but otherwise it's just going to depend on your lighting. And Poetry Cowgirl Polish brings us Booty Scootin. This is a lilac base packed with red to gold to green shifting shimmer and aurora pigment and bronze to green to teal UCC flakes, inspired by the Kaichen, it's a Mayan pyramid and a story behind maker Kristen's boyfriend being 12 when they visited the pyramid and not being able to climb down without scooting. Price will be $13 and there is a cap of 180 bottles on it. So this has a jelly type feel on application. Once again, I'm going to recommend between 2 and 3 coats depending on how you polish. The base color, I agree, is definitely a lilac, just really flirting with being somewhat pinky, which is probably from the shimmer, but does definitely have that lilac undertone to it. So the flakes in this are very prominent. They're really just crazy obvious against that base color, really contrasting here. And you'll get that lovely type of earthy color roll to them with greens and bronze and golds. And I had no texture or anything like that with it. Those of you with longer nails, you might need to go for that 3rd coat. And Pretty Beautiful Unlimited brings us Nectar. This is a lightly tinted multi-chrome base that shifts red to bronze to copper with micro hollow flakies and purple to red to gold crystal chameleon flakes. This is inspired by an ancient Roman glass bottle. Price is $12 and there is a cap of 140 bottles on it. So this one has a very dense type of formula. Really depend on how you're going to wear it. So I personally think that 2 coats is just fine, but you'll see here in just a moment I wanted to be a little extra and I took it in for a 3rd thin coat. It is so crazy packed full of goodies here. So you'll get that type of scattered but very dense twinkling effect from the little micro holographic flakes in this one. And there's also a very warm color roll to it as well. So just a ton of goodies happening here, very sparkly. And that base color, personally, I would have to say that it is going to appear like what you see on the video. It's that nice kind of burgundy-ish type of red, and it shifts over to a bronze and copper at extreme angles in shaded lighting. Now here I'm taking it to that tiny little 3rd thin coat just to really plump it out like crazy. And I felt like this one dried quite a bit on the flat side, and I personally would recommend a really good glossy top coat just to exploit all of those wonderful pigments in it. So I chose this one to show you guys the Glisten and Glow top coat and exactly how it glossifies things. So I'm just going in with a normal coat with it, and you can see here it just really makes everything pop really nice, especially those flakes. This is just a really complex shade. There's a ton going on with it, and it's just really pretty. So here you can see it sealed everything in. I've got a nice glossy effect and everything is smoothed out and wonderful, and no texture or anything like that with Nectar, but I do feel like a glossy top coat really exploits all the goodies happening in it. Now Pretty Beautiful Unlimited also brings us another wax sampler bag. I love these things so much. This is her Ambrosia wax sampler. It contains 15 scents in it. Inspired by Roman food, drink, and perfume, these scents include things like amber and lavender, black currant, vanilla and amber, Cabernet Crush, frankincense, and myrrh. This is going to be 8, and there is a cap of 90 bags available. These are so cute. They remind me of little candy bags. So upon opening this, when I was doing the video here, I was like just floored with this beautiful earthy type of mix of scents from the bag. You'll get a little pamphlet in it that shows you the scent list and what each of the little waxes smell like. These are so nice. I personally do appreciate a nice earthy type of scent, and these are so, so lovely. I really dig this concept. It's just a fantastic idea. And honestly, once again, I really think $8 for the sampler is a fantastic price. So here I'm just showing you guys just what a couple of them look like. I personally like to pop an entire little piece from the individual wrappers into my wax melter. And next we've got Quixotic polish. This is the Sacred Peacock, described as a medium dusty blue base with violet to gold to green multi-chrome shimmer, inspired by Zeus and Hera. Now Polished for Days also has a sibling shade that goes along with this one as a duo. Price on Quixotics will be $12.50, and there is a cap of 400 bottles on it. So this has a very cruddy-like formula to me. However, it performs very creamy. As you can see here on this first coat, it's just super satisfying on the brush strokes. Lots of self-leveling happening with it. And in person, that shimmer is so crazy strong. You'll mostly see it as that kind of violet-ish type of shade that you see in the video here in bright lights. And at easy angles, you'll see that gold and green shift come out. It's very, very pretty. Now on this one, it plumped out really nice in my opinion at 2 coats. So personally, I would recommend that. It does dry down kind of semi-gloss, though personally I would still go in with a glossy top coat to really exploit the shimmer here. You can kind of see just a touch of that color roll happening when I'm moving my fingers around, and no issues or anything like that to report. And Vapid brings us Pestilence, described as a black jelly base with lightly scattered hollow, as well as blue to purple to pink to aqua to green shifting iridescent flakes. This is inspired by Pestilence. Price is $13, and there is a cap of 400 US and 20 UK bottles. So this is a lovely, lovely black jelly. It builds up very quickly to opacity, and it has a very creamy feel on those brush strokes. You can see on this first coat here, kind of get an idea of how easy it is to spread across the nail. Personally, I think at 2 coats, you're gonna be good to go, though those of you rocking the longer nails, you might need to go to a 3rd thin coat on it just to even everything out. I really enjoyed the fact that the flakes in this, despite it being a very, very dark black base, they pop very nicely against it. So you'll see lots of green and blue and purple and aqua in the background, and no issues with that. Everything laid down nice and flat for me. No problems to report with this one. And you can see on the second coat, I went in just a little thick on it, but it evened out very nice, and it self-leveled very easily, and I had no issues with it. It also dries down kind of semi-gloss, so I think any top coat will do, though once again you are seeing that glisten and glow quick dry glossy top coat, and it's just really packing a punch on that glossy factor. And last but not least, Vapid also brings us a matching body butter in the scent Pestilence. This one will be 10, and there is no cap on it. This has a scent note of smoky sweet tobacco laced with musky vanilla with a clean hint of lavender and the smoothness of tonka bean. So I absolutely collect polish, I collect perfume, and a variety of other things, but one thing I also have a ton of in my bathroom, I've got 2 shelves dedicated to it, is body butter. I consider myself an absolute body butter snob. I absolutely love it, and I'm very picky on it. So normally when I get body butter, I'm pretty harsh in judgment of it. I really liked this one. It is of the heavier type on when you rub it into your skin. I'm showing you guys it here. Give it a couple minutes to soak in. It's especially wonderful after you shave. It's got a nice thick consistency to it. This is how I like my body butters. I want them to behave like butter, where it's nice and whipped, but when you apply it to your skin, it just crazy soaks in very nicely and leaves you feeling super moisturized. So here I'm just showing you guys it. I also apply it to my hands too. It's really nice for your cuticles, and the scent of this one is a beautiful type of unisex shade. I mostly get that nice sweet tobacco smell with it, but I definitely get that vanilla and that lavender and the undertones to it, and there's a really slight tonka bean scent in the background. Very nice, like I said, very unisex, and I think it's very clean smelling and just very homey and warm overall. Very nice. Highly approve, and I definitely recommend picking this up if you are a body butter junkie like myself. Now, Polish Pickup is currently open for wish listing, so be sure to log into your accounts on the website and then you can make your wish lists. Definitely get in there. There's some really nice stuff this month, you guys. The shop will open March 6th at 11 a.m. Eastern Time and will run until March 9th at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. I'll link you guys below to Polish Pickup's shop if you want to get in there and make your wish lists. I hope I helped or enabled, which I'm sorry, or at least helped at the end of the day, right? So definitely sound off below. Let me know what you're putting on your wish list. I really enjoy seeing what you guys are digging this month on every single one of my Polish Pickup videos. Definitely one of my favorite things of this channel is seeing your comments each month and what everyone's getting. So I'm a bit of a nosy Nancy in that, and I want to see. So let me know below in the comments. Also let me know how the text came off on this video. Did it fit your screens on your cell phones, all that good stuff. And I'll also link you guys below to the Polish Pickup Facebook fan group where you can see lots of other swatches from other amazing bloggers and all that good stuff. And as always, if you enjoyed the video, please give me a like and give me a subscribe. Thank you so very much for watching.